Hello, Instagram. Happy Friday. My name is Corrine Heck, and I am here with Details Flowers. And Details is a software for event florists that are wanting to manage all of their special events. I'm so glad to have you guys here, and we are excited to host one of our very first live events, and we're having Joe Vega, the CEO of Lovingly, on as a guest. And I see Joe there, he's waving. Hi, welcome guys. I see there's a few people hopping on here, so we'll get to talking to Joe when he asked to join, and then we'll start our conversation. I'm so excited to jump in. We've been working on a few collaborations with Lovingly, so we were wanting to share it with you guys. Hey, Fez and Hazel, nice to see you guys there. Backyard Bouquet. And I see you, Joe, has joined the call, so we'll wait. Hey. Yeah. So, hey, Brandy. Welcome, guys. Yeah, so Details is a software for event florists, and we help them coordinate all of the particulars that go into event design and management. Everything from knowing your inventory or what you need to propose and how your contracts are all set out. We handle a lot of financial aspects of a lot of event florists throughout the United States, and we're having Lovingly on as a guest today, and they are in the e-commerce and there we go. I see him, Joe. I haven't done this too often, so I'm always a little hesitant on technology, but I think he's going to be joining in here. It says it's connecting.
Oh, there we go.
He is.
Hello.
There's your smiling face. How are you doing, Joe? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great. Excited to talk with you. I feel like this just kind of popped up and we're like, yeah, let's go live and tell everybody what we've been up to.
Yeah.
Flower worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. We just decided to do it. So it's always nice to see you. You know, ever since I met you back, I think it was 2016 when we met in Hawaii. We were at the SAF show, and that's a nice place to meet people, Hawaii.
Yeah. I love SAF. That was actually the very first event in the flower industry that I attended. And just a little FYI that I walked into this huge event with all of these people, not knowing a single person. And the first person I met is Joe, who was so kind. And we had a nice laugh together and shared a couple of drinks. And that was just really got to know you. So it was like great introduction to the industry. So you were very welcoming. I appreciate that.
Oh, it was a pleasure to meet you as well. That was your first event from a floral show?
Yeah, it was. You know, I wanted to jump in and get right in there, and I thought, where are we going to go? And Hawaii sounded like a good idea to start. So I was like, I need to go to this event. It's happening in Hawaii. So yeah, I packed my bags and a bathing suit, and off we went to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you weren't the only one who saw Hawaii. The SAF was being hosted in Hawaii, and people were like, I think we should go to SAF this year.
Yeah.
I don't think you were the only one.
Well, so SAF is a smart bunch of people because they host their events at the most extraordinary places, and you would be really foolish to miss it, not only for the networking, but for like, we were at Palm Springs a couple years ago too. So just how amazing was that to see more of the United States?
Yeah, absolutely. They always pick a good spot, that's for sure. And we saw each other this past year as well at the SAF show, right? It was in
Amelia Island.
Amelia Island, right.
Yes, another beautiful location, which is just up the road from me, so it wasn't as far to travel, but
Yeah, that was also really fun. So
yeah.
So how has your business changed ever since when we met in Hawaii, that was 2016, so that's 4 years ago. How has it been for you? What has happened in the last 4 years?
Well, I would say we had just about 70 customers then, and we're just really kind of figuring out where our niche was or who we were actually servicing. So it was just a matter of figuring some things out. But now it's like we're a well-oiled machine and really, jamming and going with our customers and helping them do more. So a lot more customers, and which is so fabulous because people are really finding a need for this area of making sure they're sending out the proper proposals and how they're bidding their events. So definitely one pain point of the industry that we feel like we have helped to solve, and there's still a lot more to go, but you have a whole other area that you do You want to tell our viewers what Lovingly is?
Yeah, absolutely. But before I do so, I got a short story to tell you that just happened
Oh,
last week.
okay.
We had a meeting last week with some of our shops, and Mike Hollenbeck, which is a florist, he basically told us like he can't believe that Lovingly and Details Flowers, two of his favorite companies in the flower industry, are working together. So that I gotta send you that video we recorded. That was pretty cool.
Thanks. That's
So yeah,
we're really excited because you guys are all awesome over there. Everybody on your team has been super cool to work with, and just on some collaborations to make it, better for the floral world in general.
yeah, same here. A little bit about Lovingly. Well, we started the business in 2008, so we're about 12 years old. We're about to hit our teenage years, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's been a wild ride. I got started in the industry while working with one of the major wire services. I was traveling all over the United States and Canada, basically installing a point of sale system. My job back then was to get on a plane every single Sunday and fly anywhere in the United States and Canada and install this point of sale system. And then once everything was set up, florists used to confide in me. I still don't know exactly why, but they used to tell me like, it's not as good as, the good old days. And, where we spent our last $10,000 buying this system and it better work. And I'm like, you did what? Why? Like, it just, I was young and naive at the time, but they struck a nerve with me because, my father was a small business owner himself. He was forced into early retirement when the national company moved in, and he was forced into early retirement. And so I had a soft spot for florists. I mean, they're amazing people. They do it's not even appreciated, all the things that they do. Not only are they're artists, but they have to be business people. They have to, wash the flowers, work with thorns. I tried working with flowers. It is not easy. It is beyond hard. So
we wear a lot of hats.
Absolutely. So I decided to sort of start helping a few shops, and it worked out. And what we do now is that we provide a guided gifting experience for florists. So we believe that, the work that the florists actually do is more than just pushing product. They're not just out there selling flowers, right? They're like the town therapists, right? They know what's happening in the town. They know they do all these things that it kind of goes unappreciated, right? Supermarkets sell flowers, but like florists are a special bunch because they actually have to help make sure that delivery is there on time. They have to assist the customer to writing a great card message, because what happens if you send a beautiful flowers, but that card message is like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be that great experience. But the fact that they actually help them craft this great message along with the beautiful arrangements.
Really cool feature of your software too. I really loved that when I was digging in and looking at that. That was like, those people who don't have a good way with words, you've like made it really simple for them. So
yeah, well, we've done a ton of, one of the things that we do is we're very we make data driven decisions. Mm-hmm. And the card message step is literally the step where everybody just gets stuck. Yeah. They just, it's hard. How many times have you gone to CVS or Rite Aid or any pharmacy and you look at the card aisle, the Hallmark aisle, and people are just there just like, oh, I should get it. Like they look lost, right? It's hard. It's hard trying to express yourself. You know how you want to make them feel, but you don't know how to do it, right? And florists are great at that. So what we do is we provide a guided. What was that?
I said we've been there and done that with every possible situation that you can imagine. So it's, from experience, but yeah.
Yeah. So what we do in a nutshell is we provide florists with a guided gifting experience that is more than just a website. Some people think like, oh, you just provide websites. Like, no, we actually understand the whole gifter's journey, right? It's not just about creating the arrangement. It's also about the card message. It's also about the delivery. It's also about the reciprocation, right? What happens if you send flowers, but you never hear back from the person? Right. Or they may get back to you tomorrow. You won't even sleep that night, depending on what kind of order it is, right? and so we facilitate the recipient getting back to the customer in a timely manner, to the sender in a timely manner. So we understand the entire gifter's journey. We don't just end with like, here's an order, don't bother us, right? It's about that entire journey. And it shows with how happy our customers, our florists are. We call them partners, right? Our partners are extremely happy with us, and we have about 1,200 partners.
Yeah.
And it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. You call them your moment makers, which I really love.
Yeah.
I kind of want to steal that. It's such a great name because I feel like moment makers are in the event side too. But you know, this is a great way for those event planners to move over to have a more resale presence, which a lot of our customers don't. They don't even know where to start. So I feel like this is a great opportunity for them to jump in and be a really well-equipped moment maker, like virtually instantly. So
Well,
this is why I wanted to share this with our users.
yeah, I mean, we host a Facebook group called Lovely Moment Makers, and we thought that was the perfect name because it's not just florists, right? That use, like you say, not just retail florists, event florists, um, photographers, anybody who has a say in creating this moment that people celebrate is a moment maker. And it's been we've been trying the name for a while, and it's finally sticking. I love it. Now we're in meetings and people, our partners call each other moment makers, so it's been great. It's been fantastic.
Really great. You have some really cute swag too with it all over it, so I'm always like impressed by like the swag that companies create. And I got a little gift package from Daniela, someone on your team, filled with all this lovingly merchandise and different items. So it's like you're very thoughtful in the way that you present your company out into the world. And I know that our customers really appreciate that because it's all about those finishing touches that just make it extra special. So I feel like people that use details, that's why they use us, because it's all about that polished presentation. And that's where I feel like we have so much synergy with you guys. And this is just a great avenue for them to explore if they're looking, because with everything with COVID, I feel like everybody's been trying to diversify like what they can do with their business. So I think that's really great. If you have anything that you want to expand on about that.
Yeah, I think branding is incredibly important. It's not just about your logo, your colors. You have to back up with what you believe your brand represents, right? You gotta walk the walk.
Yeah.
And having it doesn't have to be expensive. Having little things like apparel, for example. There's a ton of places where you can get apparel for relatively cheap. Where you can actually start getting some swag, right? Some T-shirts, and it helps actually. Florists are in a special spot because for literally almost every other transaction that happens online or anywhere else, you just have one company and one customer, right? Well, florists are in a unique spot because they're one company, but they have access with one transaction to brand themselves to two different people. Sometimes it's like 4 or 5 different people if it's like if it's being sent to a group, for example, as the recipient. And those are opportunities that florists should not miss because it's almost like they're having a force multiplier, right? Every transaction, they have an automatic force multiplier of 1 because the recipient is there. And they should take advantage of that and actually, put in some swag or something that represents their brand with the recipient. And it doesn't have to be expensive. I think it was one of the shops in Canada, Ontario. In Ontario, I think it was Forest of Flowers. They actually had something really cute. It was like a card from the florist to the recipient, not the card message from the customer, but it said, this design was crafted by, and then it had the designer's name. They actually signed it with the brand, or it was designed with love by Jamie or by whomever. And little things like that make a huge difference.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I think you guys have done a really tremendous job of like tying together all of those components in the delivery process. And there's even some things like you capture all of the even photographs of recipients as these deliveries are being made all over the country. Can you say something
Absolutely.
about that?
Out of all the things we've done, and we've innovated in the space by a lot, sometimes we feel like we're the R&D department of the entire floral industry because we see our ideas elsewhere in a couple of months or in a year. But we call it a thanks project, and that is when first of all, we have our own super tickets. So our super tickets when they're printed at the shop and the card message goes to the recipient, we know that it's a pain point for the florist to constantly answering the phone, because we all get those phone calls, right? Somebody sends a floral arrangement, and immediately they're calling like, oh, did she get it yet? And they're like, yeah, we delivered. Well, what did she say? She hasn't called me. What's going on? Like these, and when you're busy, those are the last calls you want to get. You think it's a customer, it's an order, but it's not. It's an old customer who wants to know the status, and that's because the recipient didn't get back to the sender in a time frame that is good for the sender. So what we've done is we actually created this web page where on the recipient, once they open up the card message, it says, for example, if you send me flowers, Corrine, it'll say, hey, Corrine sent you flowers. You want to say thanks to Corrine? And if I put my phone with a QR code, it automatically going to take me to a particular page, and it's going to ask me, hey, say thanks to Corrine. Oh, by the way, send a photo of yourself. So people take a photo of themselves, and immediately the sender actually receives a message, an email with the card message and the photo. And you would not believe the types of photos that people send back. A lot of people love to put their pets in the photo for some reason, but it's nothing but smiles. It eliminates a pain point for the florist because they don't have to really, worry about the status. Oh, and by the way, once they scan that QR code, it automatically marks the order delivered. So you don't have to wait for the delivery driver to come back and mark the order delivered. It automatically does it.
That's awesome. So do you collect the recipient at that moment, like their email address for the florist, or is that something you guys have thought about doing just so they have like a larger network of even in their recipients?
Yes, so what we ask for is obviously we already know their name because it's on the ticket, their email address, the message to the sender, and a photograph. So we do have that information, so the florist could use.
Awesome. So you're servicing the United States, and you mentioned Canada. Is there anything particular that anybody needs to get started with Lovingly?
And one shop in Alaska, just but that's exciting. To get started with Lovingly, honestly, it's pretty easy. You just have to contact us, and we have dedicated account managers that can work you through the entire process. It's pretty easy, but we would like to, we can do it all online, sign up here, but we actually like the human touch. We want to be able to, explain things or talk to the florist and take it from there.
Yeah. So you have great, a support team here that is answering the calls Monday through Friday. Any particular times for assistance or support, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we're available Monday through Friday, 9 to 7. I mean, depending on if you're on the West Coast, it'll be 5. But yes, we're basically open for business the same times that a flower shop is open for business. We're closed on Sundays. On Saturdays, we're also open, but that's during the holiday months. For example, Valentine's Day or Valentine's Day month is what we call it.
Right.
Or Mother's Day, the schedule changes there a little bit, but most of the time it's 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 in your time zone.
Yeah. So you have a co-founder. I guess it's because every time I've gotten together, it's always you and Ken. So how did that collaboration work and getting into business with a friend? Tell me about that.
Well, that's a crazy story because I met Ken when I was working for a big financial bank, investment bank. And it's we worked together for about 5 months. And that's when I left to go work for one of the wire services. And he actually stood working for that bank.
Okay.
3 years later, we kept in touch, and he called me up one day. He told me that, hey, Joe, there's these places, these co-working spaces. This is back then before, WeWork and all. It was new back then. It's you can rent a cubicle for $300 a month, and you get a receptionist and all this stuff. And we ended up he wanted me to go with him to check out the place. So I did, and we ended up sitting next to each other. But I had my business, and he had his business. And my business was I was doing SEO services for florists, and his business was he was creating websites and platforms, e-commerce platforms. So it took us about 2 weeks to figure out, hey, maybe we should just work together because we were already sitting next to each other. and the rest is history.
Yeah, well, that is a big component of what you do too, is the SEO, which is so intriguing because it's always so great to be like first on Google.
Yeah.
You're helping florists with this part of their business as well with your service. So I think it's
Yeah, and that's what catapulted this entire thing, because everyone has, I'm sure you've had a light bulb moment where it's just like you can pinpoint exactly when you decided, you know what, I'm gonna start Detail Flowers. I'm gonna help. You can I'm sure you have one. For me, I remember it vividly because it was so impactful. I couldn't believe what just happened. I was helping a florist in Edmonton, Alberta, and I was just getting started with SEO. And she walked into well, first of all, she called me around 7 a.m. my time. It was a Saturday. It was like about 5 days before Valentine's Day in 2007. And she calls me on the phone and she's crying.
oh,
And I'm like, Karen? I looked up the number, 780, that's Edmonton. And she's like, Joe, you need to make a stop. And I'm like, make what stop? And she's like, they're going to yell at me. Please make a stop. I'm like, Karen, you want me to call the police? What's going on? What? I speak. I don't understand. So what had happened was she came in that morning and she got really happy because all the orders, the printer was full of paper on top because they had printed like 50 orders. And she was like, oh, this is fantastic. And then but the printer was actually asking for more paper. So she put more paper on there and took the stack of orders and put it to the side and went off to the refrigerator or something. And then from the fridge, she heard the printer beeping again. It had printed another 50 orders. And that's when she freaked out because she's like, who is doing this to me? Joe's doing this to me. So
that's awesome.
She calls me, she's like, make it. She actually told me, Joe, please make Google stop. Please turn Google off. I'm like, Karen, you can't just turn Google off.
You can't keep up with all the orders. That's awesome. Well, that's a great testimonial.
Yeah, we actually last year I went to visit her shop and we reenacted that sort of scene because she's a great florist. She's a friend of mine, and she's also. But I'll tell you the difference between a shop in Edmonton, a florist in Edmonton, and a florist in New York. That same day, I got a call for someone that I was helping in New York, and I didn't even get a word in. Chris calls me up and he goes, "Hey Joe, I don't know what you're doing, but please keep doing it." Click. And he just hung up on me. I'm like, what's going on? So that's the
for small talk. Yeah,
that's the New Yorker, and the person from Edmonton was like, I need help. Why turn Google off? But yeah.
That's awesome. I think that in the future we'll have some great things that we've talked about as far as collaborations, because you actually help bring leads in from brides, and we've been talking about having that as like an easy connection into like Details, which would be hugely like beneficial to our customers. So I don't know how you guys are going. You're constantly developing just like us, I know, but anything you can share?
Yeah, absolutely. So about 2 years ago, we noticed that we were getting a lot of inquiries, not inquiries. We're getting a lot of people interested in not buying retail flowers, but actually they were looking for a florist to do their wedding. So we had a form there, but the form, is just like a simple contact form where it's just like your name, your email, what would you like to say, and that's what everybody else has. And we just looked at that and we're like, this isn't the experience that you want, right? So we created a funnel, a guided gifting, or guided experience funnel.
Yeah.
And now when someone is interested in a wedding, it actually brings up a modal. It blocks the entire the other side of the screen in terms of the retail. And it asks the user, it guides them. It says, what's your name? When is the big day? How many people are going to attend the meeting? Basically, it's an actual guided experience. We even have a little fun with it, because if they try to leave, we say something like, whoa, you're leaving us at the altar? Why don't you try again? And like,
it was really great. I appreciate it. All the humor, you have to find a way to get people to stay engaged. So I always think it's really interesting the way that you've done that. But like Lovingly doesn't really do anything now for weddings. So that's why I feel like Details is the perfect fit for those florists that are doing those events and needing that management system.
Yeah, we help the florists actually get the lead. After they get that lead, then that's when Details Flowers flourishes, right? That's where you come in. So we help them. I think we've generated in 2 years about 60,000 wedding leads.
That's so crazy. But your SEO is so strong. Like that's why they're finding this and they're like, oh, hey, help me find a florist for this service. So we think it's such a win-win for our florists to like find these brides who are interested in an easy way that is not the Knot or Wedding Wire or some other source. So
and this guided experience also helps the florist out because what they get in return is we even integrate with a Pinterest. So the bride links up the Pinterest account so they get to see exactly, oh, the florist gets to see, oh, this person likes the, traditional or whatever. Yeah. And then the recipient, not the recipient, the person that's interested in the wedding flowers gets an email from the florist with like a nice little checklist. So when they come in, they already have like a checklist of what they're going to need. That way it saves the florist a lot of time and effort. And, it gets rid of people who are just kicking tires because you have to put effort into it. So yes, it works for everybody.
I know those are such huge pain points, and we all deal with them in every area. But it's really nice to know a great qualified lead. So usually the people who will fill out and take the time to like do everything that you're asking them is the best person for moving forward.
Yeah, and we're so excited to be finally working together because we've been talking about it for years now, right? And it's finally
I have to say, I was treated to a really nice dinner in Vegas by Ken and Joe. My husband and I joined them. I think it was two years ago, but was really awesome and just a delight to get to know you guys and just kind of hang out beyond like the business world. And I think that type of networking really like is important in those relationships and like seeing where there's synergy. So yeah, thank you again.
Yeah, with both of you, there was a lot of synergy. So it was great. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we have an offer, especially for any Lovingly members. And it's like a legacy rate that we are offering to lock in with any Lovingly customers. So we, any Lovingly people that are watching this, like reach out to us and let us know that you're on Lovingly, and we'll give you a really great special rate that is exclusive to Lovingly users. And I know you're doing something in exchange for our customers. Would you like to share what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know the florists have different needs, right? Some people may be interested in a point of sale system. Some people may be interested in getting back to retail, especially right now with the pandemic. Absolutely. So we like to offer, three things. One of them is a point of sale system free for a year. Is usually
free for a year.
Free for a year. Only, but just don't say it's just for you guys. Free for a year. It's we usually charge $97 a month for this. Also, our regular standard e-commerce platform, we're always offering that, and also the marketplace, and which includes the wedding leads. The marketplace is 10% per transaction, but that's on our marketplace. So the marketplace on Lovely.com offers florists something that's not available anywhere else, and that is the guided gifting experience, right? If you have a chance, or if any of you guys have a chance, go to Lovely.com and check out the guided gifting experience. I can promise you it's like nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah, well, we know our customers, they really expect and value like the best, and they really want, like we set the bar, I think, really high as far as like what our florists are presenting, and they really appreciate that. But I feel like your guided gifting experience is like nothing else. So tell me how this would work. Like we have a lot of florists that have spent a lot of money crafting really beautiful, amazing websites that are just like speaks exactly to their brand, and not necessarily do they want something that's like a cookie cutter. Do you have a way for them to add a link on their site to add the e-commerce site, or do they have to do a full website with you?
We built, this is going to sound strange, but the websites that we built them actually for consumers, right? For consumers to use. Okay. So what we've done is build a well-oiled machine, and what this machine does is actually has a high conversion rate, right? So it gets the orders, it gets a lot of orders for the florist. Sorry, give me 1 second. Jacob, I'm on a call. Okay.
In 10 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, I saw
Okay.
this on
I'll see
TikTok.
I'll wear my uniform, okay?
Okay, in 1 minute. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I
life
saw
now with
this
a pandemic,
TikTok of
right?
this woman, and she like is talking on the phone, and her kids, she knows they're being bad. She ends up taking her shoe off and like throwing it at them, but is still like talking to the customer. I mean, obviously it was a fake TikTok, but it's like
Where did you see that?
it's trending right now. I'll send you the link. It is hysterical because it's like someone that's on the phone talking to people, and she's like, "Stop talking."
Yeah, it's like kids don't care. Like you're on the phone, you're like, I need attention. You know? It's like,
Yeah, well, it's COVID. You know, it's a whole new world.
yeah. So I'm sorry. What was your question again?
Oh, it was about the websites. If like a customer already has a website, is there some kind of link they could just add on to have like an e-commerce part that's just like a link on maybe their navigation bar or just a page that opens?
Yeah, that can we can definitely do that for sure. What I was saying before is that the website that we have built is really for consumers, not for florists. Now that may seem like something weird to say when our partners are florists, but our partners are not the ones using the website; it's the customer, and actually that has a lot to do with our success. Is that it's not about the florist when it comes to their websites solving a problem for the consumer, right? The consumer needs to make sure, for example, our websites, I'm very proud to say this, our websites are one of the fastest websites online. And that's
Important, especially for
and
consumers. Yeah.
yeah, and that's, speed matters. That's you can verify that with Google. Google has this website called Google PageSpeed, which you can just check your own domain and see how fast it is. So we have options. So that's why it's important for us to get a call with the florist so that we can do all those things. Like you just mentioned, we can you guys can they can put a link on the navigation of their own site to the store, or we can do the entire store. I mean, there are different options. So we would have to see what their needs would be.
Yeah, what their needs, if they're just getting started and need a full site or just something to kind of add to what they've already got. I think it's just like you can one size doesn't fit all, but you've got a lot of options, I guess.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I guess a lot of people might not know this, but we're actually brain tumor survivors, brain buddies. When I put out last year that I had my tumor, you wrote to me and were like, "Oh, it's going to be no problem. I had this done. You're going to be okay." And it was just, there's not very many people that have gone through that experience. So it was really nice to get those messages.
Yeah. I had I had a cyst on my pineal gland in 2014, and I had to have emergency surgery. So that's when I found out that you were having you found a tumor in your brain. I just felt compelled to call you because it's just like I know how it is to be on the receiving end of that. Like it's like a eerie feeling,
Yeah,
you feel vulnerable, right? So
yeah,
it's yeah.
But I did get a lot of really beautiful flowers, and a lot of them through Lovingly. So it was really, oh, look at this.
Hey, but here we are. Things worked out. That's awesome.
Yeah, things really did. And, florists do a beautiful job everywhere and in every circumstance. So those are always appreciated.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess, is there anything else that you'd like to share about like why you guys are doing this, or what your plans for the future are, or what you want to hope florists get out of the experience?
Well, we like to keep a lot of things close to our chest. So right now, I'll just say that for now. Like we won't.
You've
stay
got a lot
tuned.
of the sleeves there.
Stay tuned. Yes.
Yeah. Well, we love learning more about Lovingly, and on your team has been really great to work with. So I'm sure that any of our users that give you guys a call, you'll take really good care of them. And we appreciate that. I mean, just it's so nice to collaborate and kind of cross-pollinate in this flower world, because there's so much to know and just so many different areas you can really take your business. So we just love that you guys are open and that we can work together on some really great things to make florists' life easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. It's been great. And any of your customers for Details Flowers is more than welcome. I mean, we're to treat them like royalty because, as you know, we're like you said, brain buddies. So
Yeah.
it's a little different with us. So
Yeah,
looking
well, I
forward to it.
noticed it's like I always like that concierge service, and that's the type of service we like to give our customers, and like that's what I feel like you guys give to yours. So it makes it like a really, really easy fit. So thank you, Joe. So
Oh,
great to have you on, and tell everyone on your team I said hello, and have a great Friday. And good
oh,
Friday.
thank you. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me.
yeah, you're welcome. All right,
All
have a
right.
good day.
You too. Take care.